Nothing like a little light reading while you're painting. Let's see what Tsar Alexander's up to.
On the 10th of August, the regiment, of which Prince Andrei was in command, was marching along the high road past the avenue.
Board cam. First ever.
Reading a million nightmares, and I chanced to one dream.
How do you know if it's done?
It was in mint condition.
Good morning. It's Wednesday on the homestead, and I'm going to show you something today that I don't think you've seen. It's the world's smallest bathroom. We did not have a bathroom on the main floor, and when we had guests or someone come over, they would either have to go into my office or go upstairs, which wasn't ideal. So, just off of the dining room, here's the dining room, I added a little tiny bathroom with a really tiny little sink, little corner sink. Interesting story with that sink. I'll tell you later how hard that was to get here. Plumbing is roughed in, and so what I'm working on today, my mission is to get this thing done today, meaning a door, ground molding, hardwood floor, setting the fixture, tying it into the water, switch plate, all kinds of stuff. So basically, about every discipline of remodel is going to take place today. Here's something I did wrong. Man, that made me so mad. I cut a hole in the wrong spot. But, well, we'll have to do something with that. We'll put a chrome, I don't know. I can't patch it. They're just going to have to put some sort of a chrome trim ring on it. This trim ring's too small. Look at that. I have to put a bigger one on. Chrome plumbing. It's it's a little bit utilitarian there, but it kind of, I don't know how else you'd do it there. It's about as clean as I could make it. Anyway, let's get started. First thing we need to do is, okay, so we've got the wood ceiling. I'll put a can light up there too. We got a wood ceiling, and so crown molding goes up here, right? Oh, crown molding, but painting crown molding, cutting it in, cutting a clean line of paint against that wood, it's not very fun, and I'm not that great at it, and not being a professional painter. So I have a workaround, and it's to paint it first before you put it up. Nail it in place and then patch the hole. So that's what we have going on here. So I've got my crown molding. It's just a basic, I was going to do something more elaborate. You can see here, it's just a very basic little detail there. I was going to do something more elaborate, but some gingerbread type of things. But when I put it up, because the ceiling is so low, so I can reach it. It's not very high. It's just, what is it? Just under 8 feet. It just was too heavy. So we decided just on a basic crown molding, which you see right there. Now you can see the trouble. So can you imagine painting up against that? Ooh, not me. I've never had very good luck with that. So pre-painting it is the trick. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to pre-paint this first because we can go put the floor in. We need to get 2 coats on this. It can be drying. By the time I get the floor and all the other stuff done, it'll be ready to nail into place. So let's get started. So the color that I chose for the bathroom is a Sherwin-Williams color. It is, what is it, 6681 Butter Up. I like yellow bathrooms. I think that I don't know, it just reminds me of it's like hanging out in a Van Gogh painting or something. I just think it's delightful. So this is a nice color, just about the color of a stick of fresh cream butter. And I like that. I always like a yellow bathroom. Oh, the anxiety of stirring paint. How do you know when it's enough? You never know. It seems like you stir and stir and stir, and then you look down there and you see some little spot that didn't get stirred right. It's just like cooking chicken. I hate cooking chicken. How do you know if it's done? That has got to be done. So, what are we using here? Got a paintbrush, Purdy, latex paint, 2.5 inch, about my favorite size. I like to save the stir sticks. I'll go and rinse them off and reuse them a couple times. It just seems so wasteful to throw one away every time you stir a can of paint. Well, yellows are hard to get right, but this is a really good one. It's you know what it is, what I was kind of going for. We have a little ice cream shop that we go to for special treats whenever we go into town with Jack, and it's just a nice little place to go. And they have this ice cream called yellow. It's a lemon ice. It's a lemon custard, and it's so good, and it's one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite ice creams. I think lemon, I like lemon. I get a scoop of lemon and a peppermint. But the lemon's got to be on the top and the peppermint on the bottom. That's really important because the peppermint is such a strong flavor that it kind of blows out your taste buds. So you got to put the lemon on the top because it's so subtle. And then when you're done with that, then you can have the bigness of the peppermint. But that's what I was going for here. So I kind of matched up the paint color with that. Heart Racer hid the bun up here, but she left it unattended. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's going to be trouble now. Heart Racer, is she trying to get your bun? She's eyeballing it. I'd do something about that if I were you. You want a hot dog bun, Miss Pants? You can eat it. If Heart Racer won't eat it, you can eat it. Oh, it's not happening now, is it? Oh, you had your chance and you squandered it. Back to pick a better hiding place.
It was cool. But on the road, on the high road along which the troops marched, there was no coolness even at night. Not even where the road passed through the woods. Prince Andrei rode up to the conservatory. The panes were smashed, and some of the trees in tubs were broken, others quite dried up. And near him the bat was hanging on the branches of a broken and dried up magnolia.
First coat done, let that dry. Now we can turn our attention to the floor. So this floor ought to go quick. So it's been very helpful. Well, let's see. So we're going to the bathroom here. This is going to be Mrs. W's office. And she, look at that. She's so organized. She's got all my wood flooring ready, categorized by size. So I can go in here and simply grab it. So I know I need a 32-inch piece. And that looks like about the right one right there. So we've pretty much used up the long pieces. We're kind of down to the short pieces, which was kind of by design. So the little shorter pieces will fit in the areas with, you know, like the bedrooms and closets and hallways and things where it's not so noticeable. But for here, because we have some complicated notching here, we want to make sure that we have one piece. Ooh, not many long ones left. 51 1/8. Right there. That's the one. The way she's got this organized sure saves time. So I've got two saws going today. I like the smaller one for cutting my trim, crown moldings. It's got a finished blade on it, just a little nicer. It's got the stand that supports the longer pieces because I've got 16s, but it won't cut these big ones. These are a full 1x7, so I've got to have this big saw, which is a little bit more crude, but it does cut them in one slice, so that's pretty nice. Well, that's nice. Nice. Want to have a little bit of distance or a little spacing on those sides for growth. You know, boy, if everything happens and that thing grows or it hits those walls, you really got trouble. I've seen these floors stack up, get a little water on them like accordion. So this is a bit of a tricky spot. This didn't come out very well. That's always the case though. So the problem we have here is that, yeah, we could notch this here and have these little pieces go back in along the wall, but they're going to, by the time it gets to the other end, it's going to be like a 1/2 inch thick. It's going to be so delicate and I can't really nail it. And well, it's not going to do it that way. So what I'm going to do is we'll put this piece in here, and we've got base and quarter round. It's going to cover just fine here. A little bit shy there, so we'll have to splice in a little piece, but I think it'll be simpler this way. Then we can put a full length piece here then, and then we'll just add that little one in and nail it in. Boy, after working with those big 14-footers, these little pieces are nice. So what you want to do is you want to get your scrap pieces like this, and we don't need them to be so big. We just take just chop them off there. So we've got the females there, that we've got the groove, and we don't want to tap on this groove. We tap on that with the hammer as we're knocking it in, we'll damage it and give ourselves all sorts of heartache issues trying to get the next piece in and mushroom it out. But just put those on there and that'll protect it. So even though the edges are tight, you can see right there, there's a gap. So I'll just take it, whack it in the middle a few times. So I've hit that in as hard as I can with a hammer, but even sometimes you get a board that's got some irregularities in it, or who knows what happened right there, but it's just not coming tight. So now I'll put the persuader on it. The persuader, it doesn't mess around. Doesn't take much. So to nail the floor down, some of you have seen this. This is a floor stapler. I got this on Amazon. And man, it's a must-have if you're going to do a lot of floor. It uses these big staples here, probably what, 2 inches? And man, nothing holds like a staple. You just open this thing in right there like that, drop them in, bammo. Even came with this cool hammer. It's got this big, massive hammer, and then you strike this guy right there. And what it does is you put it up here. I'll put a nice dent in my floor there. Nothing too good for you guys there. We're gonna show it also, but you put that in there, it goes in there like at an angle, and then we strike this really hard. It drives that staple down through the tongue, pulling the floor back and making it super tight. If you're doing nail down floor, you don't have to buy one of these. You can rent one. They rent pretty affordably, but I got such a good deal that I bought it. I thought, well, if I don't want it when I'm done, I can sell it. Alright, next piece and we'll be in good shape here. So here you can hear I had a bad strike in the nail. I didn't quite hit it square, and the staple didn't go in there right. We can't have that. So we could either pull it out. I could try to set it in there, but yeah, I think we probably ought to just pull it out. So this is where our nippers come in handy. You got the big ones and the little ones. I think I like well, it's nice to have both, but I like the littler ones, seem to be a little more versatile. We want to be careful. We don't want to ruin that tongue or that wood. It's better to not misstrike that, but it should. Boy, these staples, they hold like the devil. It should pull out. Nope. That's not going to pull out. I don't know why I said it should pull out. I don't know if I've ever got one out this way, but I always try. Well, I can cut it off short. Now we might be able to set that in there with our nail set. Okay, well, it's not going to go in. So what we have to make sure we do is to set that down in there, even if it bends over in a way where it's not going to interfere, whoops, with the next piece. Yeah, that's just fine. So this is the toilet flange, and this actually worked out really good. I left it loose. It's not connected yet because I wanted to put the floor underneath of it. That worked out reasonably well. Oh, it's another beautiful, what is it, Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday afternoon on the homestead. Got a nice breeze today, not near as hot as it was yesterday. Mrs. W's got the sprinkler out in the yard, and the grass is starting to turn from green to yellow. So interesting, we've got a new fire chief with our local volunteer department. We have got a new guy that was just hired, and yesterday, actually last night at training or at drill, got a chance to kind of got to get to know him a little bit. I'd met previously, but I wasn't really acquainted with him. But really enjoyed it. What a nice to have. The fire department is it doesn't like change. And you kind of get stuck in a rut and kind of doing things a certain way, and it can tend to get a little boring and monotonous. Having someone new that's enthusiastic and with tons of experience is, it's a breath of fresh air, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. So anyway, speaking of so I was on the way home. I was just pulling out of the parking lot. It's the last place I have internet on my phone, or I can check an email before I head home. So I was checking to make sure if Mrs. W needed something. And I received this message from Mike Sathoff. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that properly. And I put it up here, and I'll read it, because this really got me thinking. I thought about it all the way home. I thought about it today, and I'd like to address this. And the question is, hi, I really enjoy watching your channel. I don't know if you take requests for your videos, but I would like to see if you have one about what would you ask God if you had only one question. And that really struck me when I read that, and I was driving and I was thinking about that question. And of course, the obvious things come to mind. Why do bad things happen to good people, and why do so many people suffer, not only in our country, but in third world countries, India and Africa, and why are there wars and all of these things? But I guess the thing that really came to mind that I think that I would ask, I don't really know, but the thing that I've settled on is, why are you taking so long to come back? I understand the great controversy. I understand that there has been accusations leveled at God that his ruling is not just, and that it's not only us that's involved in this, and to quote Shakespeare, this theater, but the whole onlooking universe is watching this to see if whose way is better. Is God telling the truth? Is the adversary, is Satan, is he telling the truth? And that this is all played out. And I think, myself being a reasonably educated person and somewhat literate in the Bible, I think that God has made his case. I think we can see what happens to mankind and humanity when they turn away from the biblical principles or the commandments of God. We've all heard stories. We all maybe even had firsthand experience with some of the despicable and terrible things that humans are capable of. We hear about it on the news all the time. We read about it on the internet. And I don't think anyone can say, we need to see more. We need to see how depraved man can be, because I don't know that I need to see anymore. So my question to God would be, I get it. I see your way as a better way. I see what would happen if we went the way of the adversary. You don't have to convince me anymore, but I'm ready to go. I don't want to. I believe you. I don't need to be educated anymore. I want to go. I don't. This life is hard, and sometimes, it's silly for us to say that, living in luxury and with the benefits of freedom in this wonderful country that we're in. But still, of course, it's in human nature to complain. We all have troubles, we all have difficulties, but sometimes they're pretty small compared to difficulties that maybe poverty-stricken people in India or in Africa have. It's a very, very different thing. And when you look upon that and you see the genocides and the atrocities and the wars that are being perpetrated on a man against man, it's not a very joyous life. It's not a very happy life. And to walk around and wearing a shirt that says, smile, be happy. How happy can we be? This world is a cruel old place. What do we have to look forward to? Not only death of our loved ones, and sickness and injury and financial difficulties and worries and troubles, and ultimately the whole thing culminating with our own death and what was our life for. So my question to God would be, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? And I don't say that to be irreverent. I don't mean that at all. But I think that God can handle us. I think we can speak frankly with Him. We don't need to pull our punches, so to speak. What would you ask? And be respectful. I mean, of course, there's going to be anti-Christians or anti-God people in there, but we always have some of that. But seriously, think about it. And even if you're agnostic or atheist, or if you're a Christian, of course, you're always welcome here. I've always made a point to not be judgmental and not to condemn anyone. We're all in this together, and we all have our own difficulties. And I'm the last person to be pointing a finger at anyone. But what would you ask? What question would you ask if you only had one? It's quite a thing to think about. I guess that's it. Well, thanks for watching, guys. And sorry we didn't get any further, but you start talking about ice cream, and pretty soon you're at 15 minutes. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.